right, and welcome back to the David's Happy Carpet Game of the Week as the Heritage Band just completed the Star Spangled Banner. This is Scott Dunkel alongside Trevor Dunkel as both teams are still getting prepped to come out in Heritage here on senior night as they honored all their seniors just a little while ago. We're going to go back to Trevor here for a couple minutes. We're going to talk a little bit about region and tonight's game as well. Trevor, do you see anything that's just outstanding out there?
Yeah, real quick, I was going to mention to make sure to tune in to halftime on Twitter and Facebook. We're going to announce the Trevor's Tornado Trivia question brought to you by John Lake Camp State Farm. You've trusted the Dunkels for your sports coverage. Might as well trust Trevor Dunkel at John Lake Camp State Farm for your insurance needs. From auto to home to life, we got you covered. As for John or Trevor at 423-894-5568. or reach out to 2 Hype Sports for more information. One thing I was going to bring up, though, going back to the scoreboard, is we got to keep an eye on Region 1. That's going to be future opponents going into the playoffs. Tonight, Volunteer hosting Greenville. As of right now, Elizabethton and Greenville looking to kind of keep their first and second place positions. I think we need to keep an eye on Volunteer as they travel to Cherokee next week. I think that could really, unless Seymour kind of does the impossible and makes their way back into the playoffs, I think it's going to come down to Volunteer and Cherokee on who we'll see in the playoffs first week.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting as Seymour's got to finish up with Elizabeth, and that's going to be a tough game for them. And they have Granger as Cherokee finishes up with Volunteer. Like you said, that's going to be a game. Could determine third or fourth place there. They'll finish with Northview Academy. But the game in Region 1 to circle is Greenville and Elizabethton at the end of the year. So that's a game you definitely want to be paying attention to if you're keeping up with the region stuff, as we are in Region 2, they are in Region 1. And those are the teams to beat. Greenville always up there at the top. Elizabethton has been that way as well for several years. So keep an eye on them.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then also, not trying to look too far ahead, but keeping an eye on a local team, Loudon, as they're also battling to hopefully claim the top place position in their region, Region 3. So they could also be a team that we may see in the future. Right now, it's Red Bank at number 1 with Loudon at number 2, and they in the season matching up. So that could come down to who gets the first and second place positions for their region.
Yeah, but either way you look at it, Trevor, right now, this is where the fun really begins, is you've got 3 weeks. This is part of that 3-week span that you're going to see how the playoffs shape up and who will or will not be making it. And that last game of the season, that could determine a lot of things right there as well. So, looks like Heritage has won the toss. They have elected to receive as the teams are shaking hands and getting ready to head out head out back to their respective teams as they're going to go running through their signs and everything else, getting prepared to come out here. We still got just over a minute left anyway before the game starts. Referees at midfield getting their stuff together, getting ready to go, as Alcoa definitely looks ready to come out onto the field. Heritage looks like they're already out on the field. Everything going there as Alcoa rushes out on the field now as we're getting Heath back into this game with us again here at Heritage High School in Maryville, Tennessee. A beautiful night, probably down to about 73 degrees now, still partly cloudy, but a great night for football, Heath.
Absolutely, Scott. I was speaking a minute ago with Coulter about this, but this Alcoa versus Heritage game, this is the 33rd meeting all time between the Tornadoes and the Mountaineers, with their first meeting in 1977 when Heritage first opened. From 1977 to 2004, the rivalry would be played every year, with the Tornadoes leading the series 20-8. It would be 9 seasons before these two teams would meet again between the seasons. It has taken another classifications for these two teams to battle once more. As I was telling Coulter, Scott, took 9 years, a break between each one, and then another 9 years for us to kick back off this series. I hope we don't have to wait another 9. I hope we see this rivalry for many years to come.
Very true, Heath. One good thing, though, since we've got the realignment, we'll be with this for a few years anyway.
Yeah, we're going to see, you get to see these teams at least for a few years, hopefully for many more. But right now, the Alcoa Tornadoes getting ready to boot the ball away as the Mountaineers back to receive. It'll be Kyron Tyson doing the kicking duties for Alcoa.
Kyron Tyson to kick.
Yeah, looks like Ethan Bryant back for Heritage alongside Dylan Burgess.
Dylan Burgess, good number, Scott, number 14 for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, I remember seeing that a few times.
So Kyron Tyson taking his steps back, getting things ready to rock and roll. We'll see what this Heritage Mountaineer offense can do.
And Tyson's still one of the top kickers in the area for getting the ball on a touchback, getting it back into the end zone on kickoffs.
Booting it away, going back is Brian. That one will end up in the end zone for a touchback.
And he continues.
Continues this streak. As I mentioned, this Heritage offense, they average 27 points a game, but Scott, they allow 28.
Got a flag on the play, Heath. Not sure just what it is just yet. It's like a personal foul on Alcoa. So the ball, which would have been spotted at the 20, is now going to be spotted back to the 35-yard line. The referee's marking that off. Those joining us tonight, Heritage in their traditional red, Alcoa in maroon pants along with their white tops with maroon numerals.
Two receivers to the left formation, tied in, split off to the left side, and the pistol goes to the Mountaineers. We'll move the two from the left to the right. He'll get the snap, he'll turn, he'll hand it off. Looking for a hole, he won't find one. As Damari DeBose, the first one, Johnny on the spot, making the tackle. It'll be a loss of 1.
Damari DeBose.
Yeah, he came out of that backfield, and DeBose was right there in the corner waiting on him.
So it's now 2nd and 11 for Heritage. We'll turn and get the play call from the sidelines. It's got a good play caller at that, Joe Ossavet, who was very successful in his collegiate days as a coach with his offense, then took his talents to the University of Tennessee and was on Jeremy Pruitt's staff. Mountaineers certainly lucky to have him here. He's done a lot of great things for them as the Mountaineers getting back to it here on offense. Trips to the left, they'll hand it off up the middle, looking for a hole. No, the fake, they'll throw it complete. A great catch by Bryant. Bryant a couple of yards away from the first down.
Yeah, good play, good fake, as everyone, I think, was looking up the middle for the tackle, and then you saw the ball cross right in front of you.
Yeah, certainly had me fooled. It's now going to be 3rd and 2 for Heritage. 10:52 to go here in the first quarter. First drive on offense for the Mountaineers. Makes their substitutions, and here they go. Two receivers on the right side, tight end, split off to the right.
As a reminder for Alcoa, they've been pretty good this year. Only a couple of hiccups of rushing the line. So make sure that they don't go after that again.
Bowers in the backfield with McNeil. McNeil, the quarterback, turns. He'll hand it off up the middle to Bowers. Bowers is going to get met right at the line of scrimmage, and he will not get anything else. It's now going to be 4th and 2 in decision time near midfield.
Yeah, that looks like a play that Alcoa knew was coming, that on 3rd down play they're going to try to go up the middle. Heritage had success on the pass earlier, but it looks like this time they may go for it. I would be really surprised if they did, though.
If I was the Tornadoes, I'd be looking for Heritage to try to get you to jump here in this situation. Coach Nix hopefully yelling at his players, hey, don't jump.
Yeah, with 7 seconds left on the play clock.
Yeah, as time winds down, we'll see if Heritage just tries to get him to move, and they will actually go for it. Madam Neal looks across the middle, throws it, deflected and intercepted. It's Micah Jones who gets it off the deflection. Jones to the 20, 15, gets around a defender in the end zone, touchdown, Tornadoes.
We have a flag on the play, though, Heath.
Yeah, and I think what they're going to get, Scott, is either pass interference or holding on the defensive back. I wondered if they would call it. I'm glad you saw that, as it looked like he kind of had an arm around him as he was turning him and deflecting that ball over to Jones. The ref saw it, and unfortunately for Micah, this one going back.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Micah for that. That was a great run back, but yeah. Number 11 for Alcoa, Mason Laster. Like as you said, it looked like he had him by the arm, was turning him as he was trying to swat the ball as well, but that gives the Mountaineers a first down and also puts them into Alcoa territory.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of a play I saw last night on Thursday Night Football against the Steelers and the Bengals. Don't want to relive bad memories for Trevor, the Steelers fan, but Jalen Ramsey was kind of covering Jamar Chase like a blanket and got called for a penalty. You see it right there. Great coverage all over him, but just had a little too much of him and got the call. So works out for the Mountaineers. Their offensive drive stays alive, and that moves them across the field. They're now 42 yards away from the end zone. 9:24 left to go in the first quarter. They'll hand it off to Bowers. Bowers fighting for everything he can. We'll see if they give him a yard or so. It's going to bring up second down.
Looks like about half a yard's all they're going to really give him, and that's being generous, as he was really fighting to get forward on that play.
Yeah, Scott Thomas Bowers, the leading rusher for the Mountaineers this season. 85 carries for 503 yards, averaging around 5 yards per carry, 11 touchdowns for the season. So it is second down. They're going to call it 2nd and 10. He did not get the full yard there, so Mountaineers will come back out with 3 receivers to the right. Bowers in the backfield. They'll turn, they'll hand it off to him again up the middle. This time he will get some positive yardage, but it looks like he only got maybe 1 on the play.
Yeah, Alcoa's rushing defense is really good this year. But I could also say their passing is too. They're a really good team all the way around defensively. But when you give gifts to the other team, that helps keep drives alive.
Well, and one of the things you saw them do earlier in this drive, Scott, is they did a really good job with just kind of throwing the Tornadoes off with selling the run and then throwing that ball across the middle to Bryant. We'll see if they try to go back to that here on 3rd and long.
Well, they have the 3 receivers again, this time on the right side. Last time it was on the left. Watch for number 4. Is either him or 14 that got that catch last time?
It was 4, but also Tegan Ruling, the other receiver, comes out on the left. So single receiver to the left, trips to the right. They'll turn, try to throw a screen. That one will fall incomplete near the Mountaineers sidelines. It's going to be 4th and 9. And Scott, now on this side of the field, what do? Do you try to pin the Tornadoes deep?
You would think so, but I'm not sure who their punter is. So I'm not sure if
they're
like Alcoa.
Kind of get it out of bounds, but looks like they may be considering going for it here. They better hurry as the clock continues to run. 15 seconds on the play clock as trips to the right, tight end on the left side of the formation. They'll turn, look over, and get the call from the sidelines. They'll make the adjustment. Now in the shotgun, running back to the right side of McNeil. McNeil gets the snap, fakes the handoff, turns, they throw a screen to the outside. As soon as he catches it, blown up by Mason Laster.
Yeah, Laster not going to get full this time and not going to be that close to give him enough room to catch the ball, but after that, close quickly, good open field tackle.
Laster, a 5'11", 165-pound junior, a great addition to this defense. Came over from Bearden High School, and he read that play from Jump Street and got the tackle, and it's now 1st and 10 for Alcoa. Ball at the 45. Two receivers to the right, 1 to the left of the formation for Manu. It's Condis Cherry in the backfield. They'll turn, hand it off to Cherry. Cherry to the left, trying to cut it to the outside. Good pursuit by the Mountaineer defense. It'll be a loss of 1.
Yeah, Cherry trying to come around that left side. Had 3 Mountaineers waiting on him. Tried to cut in between. No such luck as he ends up losing a yard.
And Scott, this is a Mountaineers team that has a lot of seniors. We saw that before the game, honoring senior night tonight. You had band members, cheerleaders. You had the football team out there as well. But they spread from end zone to end zone. And a lot of key contributors that have been putting in a lot of time over the last few years for this Heritage defense. It is 2nd and 11 for the Tornadoes. Pistol formation, Cherry in the backfield behind Manu. Manu turns, throws it to the outside, and a screen set up for Jacoby Cooper. Cooper breaks the first tackle, jukes another one. To the 40 he goes, and now escorted out of bounds at the 39, but not before he picks up a miracle top shot first down for Alcoa.
Jacoby Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper, Mr. Electric, Heath, as you get the ball to him, he's usually going to make something happen. And that time, looks like he might have got stopped or got out of there.
Yeah, Jacoby Cooper, 24 receptions, 295 yards, and 4 touchdowns this season, averaging 12 yards a catch. Keeps that average going without big one there. It's a handoff to Cherry. Cherry a little bit more breathing room this time, and look at him go, continuing to make moves. He cut to the outside, cut back into the teeth of the defense, and picked up another top shot first down.
Heath, we've said this all season, Cherry much improved from last year, not just in holding on to the football, holding it a little tighter than he was last year, but also some of those jukes and jives that he has makes it so hard for a defender to stop him.
Yeah, he is very shifty. First down for Alcoa, ball at the 25. 6:54 and counting off the clock here in the first quarter. Mono will turn, pitch it to the right side to Cherry. Cherry cuts to the outside, to the 30, to the 10, to the 5. End zone, touchdown. A Delosier auction touchdown for the Tornadoes. A good read by Cherry, and Scott, he just turned on the Jets, and no one could touch him.
Touchdown.
That he did, Heath, and I was just thinking of this earlier as we were watching him there, and then he does that. He's like a fox. I'm going to start calling him Fox here. But but just how it looks like the Hound Dogs just about have him, and he finds a way to get away from him, and he's gone.
A fantastic run by Condis Cherry, and now Tyson awaits the extra point. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is good. 6:28 left to go in the first quarter. Your score, Alcoa 7, Heritage 0. We'll be back here in just a moment. Back into the David's Abbey Carpet Game of the Week as booting away the Cadunza kickoff was Kyron Tyson as that one goes in for a touchback. Moments ago it was Alcoa running back Condis Cherry, a 25-yard run that ended up in the end zone. The extra point was up and good, and it's 7-0 Tornadoes here in the first quarter. 6:28 left to go in the first, and the Mountaineers will come back out for their second opportunity. The first offensive drive looked like it was going to stall out after an interception got ran back for a touchdown, but then it was a penalty by the defense that gave them new life, and they started to move it. It got it across the 50, but Scott just couldn't finish the drive.
So true, Heath. And 2 penalties actually in that drive for Heritage helped them get halfway down the field. But one of the things, we saw this with South Doyle, ball control and clock management, keeping hold of that clock because that's what stops or slows down the Alcoa offense.
Moments ago, Madden McNeil dropped back at 2 receivers to the left and to the right, threw to the right side, and that one was completed to number 14 of the Heritage Mountaineers. That was Dylan Burgess. Burgess made the catch, but it was a few yards behind the line of scrimmage. Tried to get past that first defender, but just got tripped up and fell over, and so it's now going to be 2nd and 12 with 6 minutes left to go in the first.
Heritage has been more successful throwing the ball down the field than side to side, as Alcoa's corners and their linebackers get to that ball very quick.
But I think it's one of the things you've really just seen kind of a shift offensively with a lot of teams, Scott, at the collegiate level and at this level, where they try to go more east and west and then let their playmakers do the rest. But if you've got a defense with good speed, it's kind of hard to do to get yourself down the field. And you have to kind of go north and south. As a good run by Bowers, but he gets up in it and flipped over. And it'll now be around 3rd and 5 after a 7-yard gain.
Yeah, he went right into Jones there, and Jones just got low for the tackle and just brought him up. Nothing flagrant about it at all, just a good tackle.
3rd and 5 for the Mountaineers. Ball on the 25-yard line. They'll make some substitutions, bring in some new personnel. It'll be Tegan Ruling who will go out as the single receiver to the left side. It'll be Trips to the right, kind of bunched up together.
So
Bowers the backfield. Madden will roll out to the Trips side, feel some pressure, and he's going to be sacked as Darius Sutter, Scott, turned on the Jets, met him 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and brought him down.
Sacked by Sutter.
Yeah, not a whole lot he could do. He got back there, but the only thing he had back there wasn't green, it was maroon.
Darius Sutterth, one of the leaders of this Alcoa defense, a junior that has just continued to grow in his role. Started last year as a sophomore, and you could tell the potential there by that young man was through the roof. Great play by Darius Sutterth, forces a 4th down, and now the Mountaineers will punt it away. It's 4th and 15, and Jameer Dean around the 40 waiting for the punt. Dropping the punt, picking it back up, and he'll get the kickoff. Dean will see it short, call things out to his punt return team. They'll move out of the way, and that one will be down to at the 41. So that is where the Alcoa offense will come out for their 2nd offensive drive tonight. The first one ended with 6 points as it was a 25-yard run by Condis Cherry, and then the extra point was up and good. We'll see if the Tornadoes can have the same success here.
Well, as a punter, you drop that football and your internal clock starts ticking extremely fast because you know they're coming after you. And he tried to just hurry that one, ends up getting a very short kick.
Yeah, well, kudos to him, though, Scott, to be able to stay composed enough to get it back up, handle the ball correctly, and get that kick off. They'll send a man in motion. They'll turn fake the jet sweep, hand it off up the middle to Damari DeBose. Damari DeBose meets the hosts of Mountaineers quickly after a gain of 2. It's now going to be 2nd and 8.
And Alcoa continues, as they've done all year, to rotate the running backs in different series.
Got a Hardy scoreboard update courtesy of Trevor Dunkel. Science Hill scores first and leads Maryville 7-0.
That's just going to make Maryville mad.
2nd and 8 for the Tornadoes. They'll turn, fake the handoff, play action. Manu drops back, throws a bomb down the field. He's got a man, and just overthrows Jameer Dean about a yard or 2 in front of him. Dean tried to get a paw out there, Scott, but couldn't bring it in.
That would have been a beautiful catch had he been able to do so, but Manu just a hair off on that. Probably a tad bit more air under the ball.
Yeah, could have put a little bit more touch on it. Dean would have been walking into the end zone, Scott, because he had some separation between him and the defensive back. So it is now 3rd and 8 for Alcoa. Trips bunch formation. Damari DeBose will get it. He'll try to cut it to the outside. Now cut it back in. Look for a hole. He'll find it for a few. He's not going to pick up the first, though. It's going to be 4th and 2.
Alcoa's going for it.
I think you should. It's a ball at the 33. I wonder if it's just outside of Tyson's range, so I would go for it here.
I know Tyson's kicked pretty well this year, but again, 4th and 2, you're in moderate territory for Heritage if driving the ball back, even if you were to turn the ball over.
So that's exactly what the Tornadoes will do. We'll go for it here. They have Jalen Pinson split off to the left side of the formation. They have got, looks like Micah Jones in the backfield. It'll be Micah Jones getting the carry. And Micah Jones, there goes the bruiser, and there goes a Maryville top shot first down for the Tornadoes as he'll be taken down at the 28.
Yeah, a little harder person to hit.
Well, and Scott, he was the lead back for the Tornadoes last year, but they have gone to Condis Cherry more this season. But Micah Jones still makes it count when his number is called. 33 carries, 190 yards coming into this game. He averages 5.8 yards per touch. It's 1st and 10. They'll keep Jones in the backfield with Manu. You've got Cooper and Abuhanya out to the left. Jameer Dean by himself to the right side. Jalen Pinson also split off right behind the line on the left side as well. Mana will turn. He'll roll to the strong side. Look, he's got a man. It's Jacoby Cooper. Caught. Cooper fighting with the defensive back as he gets taken out of bounds.
Cooper.
Yeah, Red Hall in the tackle for Heritage is not letting Cooper go anywhere.
Yeah, good physicality by the defensive back, not letting Cooper get out of his clutches. It'll be a 40-yard catch for Jacoby. It's now 2nd and 6. Minute 47 on the clock here in the first quarter. Jones stays in the backfield with Manu. It'll be Jones who will get the carry. There goes Micah Jones. Jones bulldozing through defenders, gets inside the 10 before he's taken down. A Marable top shot first down. And the Tornadoes find themselves in the Clean Roofs Tornado Maroon Zone. Manu will turn, throw it out quickly to Cooper. They try to set up a screen. He has to dive over one defender. He gets over another. He tries to lunge out for the end zone. And I think he's going to be just short. No, they're going to say he stepped out a few yards further than that, back from the end zone. They're going to say he went out at the 4.
Yeah, sideline referee says he stepped out right at the 4. Good footwork. It looked like he was going to be able to make it. He leads the ball over, but he was already out of bounds. So probably going to go with Jones here and just a run.
Trips bunch on the right. They'll turn, they'll hand it off. There goes Micah, and there goes 6 points. A Delosier auction touchdown for the Tornadoes. A 4-yard run by Micah Jones. And the Tornadoes on the board again. 2 rushing touchdowns so far for Alcoa, as they now lead 13-0 and await the extra point.
Yeah, Jones owes the offensive line a really nice supper tonight as they put a wall up. He had nothing but blue in front of him.
Yeah, again, Scott, it's too bad we can't get about 5 plaques to give out on a game like tonight, as the offensive line all earns it and deserves it. Kyron Tyson will get set. Manu is the one doing the holding duties for the Tornadoes. The kick is up, and they dove and almost blocked it. They got a piece of his foot, but the ball was able to kind of duck its way into the field goal post for an extra point. So it just squirted its way in there, and your score with 1:08 left to go in the first quarter, Alcoa 14, Heritage 0. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment. Back in, the Cadenza kickoff was a moment ago. Another touchback for the Tornadoes. Now the Mountaineers will come back out here on offense. Ball at the 20-yard line, down 2 scores as Heritage with 1:08 left to go here in the first quarter. 14-0 your score. Scott, when the Tornadoes were on offense, Manu almost had a Jameer Dean connection like he had missed him, but then the running game really.
Yeah, Alcoa's relied heavily, and they have all. And they hit you with 3 different ones, each one of them fresh legs, and they continue to do that through the whole game. Makes it really hard for the defense when you've got running backs that have been rested and come out and really just have all the energy they need.
Empty backfield for the Mountaineers, but now they'll reset and change the look. Running back will come into the backfield behind McNeil. They'll turn, they'll hand it off to him. Nothing doing. It was number 22, Bubba Patterson, on the carry. Patterson was met a few yards behind the line of scrimmage. It's now going to be 2nd and 12.
It looks like Cade Stennett, the last one up on the pile there, because he gets in on the running back as this quarter is slowly getting towards the end. It looks like another play at least.
I'd almost like to see Heritage stay in that empty backfield and try to flood the secondary and see if they can get something open. Madden's got the arm to be able to move it down the field.
He's got to have time, though.
Agreed, but he can find some quick hitters. He'll turn, throw it right there. There's one to Bryant. Bryant makes the move, and Bryant's going to be close, I think a yard away from the first down marker. It's now going to be 3rd and 1. As that clock ticks, we'll see if the Mountaineers will just let this one roll to the end of the first.
Yeah, bad angle by the defender, though, trying to get to him, and then ends up getting blocked out from being able to get back into the play. Alcoa, again, they're
clock roll. That will be the end of the first quarter. So after one, it is Alcoa 14, Heritage 0. And when we come back for the second quarter action, it'll be the Mountaineers with the ball. It'll be 3rd and 1. You're listening to the David's Abbey Carpet Game of the Week on 94.3 Jack FM. We'll be back here soon. Welcome back into the call here on 94.3 Jack FM. It's the David's Abbey Carpet Game of the Week, and it's the Mountaineers on 3rd and 1 who try to hand it off and see if they can pick up the yard they need for a critical first down. Instead, they move in reverse, and it's now going to be 4th and about 3 for Heritage. It's got a thing now. I would imagine the Mountaineers will look to punt the ball away.
You would think so, Heath, but Heritage, or not Heritage, actually Heritage trying to hand off to Patterson. Patterson met quickly in the backfield by a host of tornadoes as he got nowhere, lost 2 yards.
Well, they're showing that they're going to go for it. I still wonder if they're going to try to get someone to jump and maybe see if McNeil will pooch kick it away. Yeah, they're going to back him up, and that's exactly what they'll do. So Matt and McNeil will give the old quarterback pooch kick, and it'll take a Mountaineer roll. How about that? Oh! And Scott, that's a special teams, maybe almost blunder that you may want to have a conversation with that back. He was running down the field. That ball was rolling in your favor down the field. He tried to pick it up before the ball stopped rolling. He luckily missed it, and it was able to go a couple more yards for Heritage. But
if
you got to give that guy over to the sidelines. No, I'm talking about for Heritage. You got to bring him over and say, hey, leave that ball alone. That one was rolling in the right direction.
Well, also you want to talk to Dean as he came up to the ball and just at the last second got himself out of the way. If that ball had taken a bounce
I think he was just trying to throw the Mountaineers off, but
you still don't go. You be very careful getting around.
You wonder too, because that was the offense on the field and not the punt team. If maybe the player who almost did that was a player who's not normally on the punt team, so therefore he wasn't even thinking about that.
You're gonna let the ball roll,
but you got to let it roll. Luckily, he missed it, and it worked out for Heritage. It's now going to be down at the. Looks like the 20. I think they're going to put it at the 4.
Or no, they are. That's where they marked it. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Against Alcoa.
Against Alcoa backs him up a little bit. didn't really see who that would have been on or what was going on, but either way, it does back Alcoa up now to the 24-yard line. I take that back now. They're going to mark it off. That's going to move them about half the distance. That's going to move it down to about the 12-yard line.
Yeah, the 24 was where the ball was down on the punt. But that penalty moves Alcoa back even further. So they're now at the 12 with 10:54 left to go in the second quarter.
That just means that receiver has more room to run.
Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Manu will turn, fake the handoff, roll to the outside in the flats is Jalen Pinson. There goes Jalen. Jalen to the 30, 35, 40. And will be taken down towards the Mountaineers sideline at the 44.
Saved by Dylan Burgess, Heath, is if he had gotten past Burgess, then he had room.
Yeah, one receiver went to the outside, one cut it up the field, and they left a huge gap of space for Jalen Pinson to go out into the flats, and no one was on him, Scott, and that led to plenty of room to run. Amara will top shot, first down for the Tornadoes. Ball at the 44-yard line, and here they go on the offense again. They'll turn, they'll pitch it to the outside to Cherry. Cherry to the left, looking for a seam.
Cherry on the carry. Tackled by Wheeler.
Carry by Condis Cherry will go for 5 yards. It's now 2nd and 5. Alcoa quickly gets back to the line of scrimmage. Empty backfield for Manu. He'll check both sides, make sure the offense is ready, get the snap, turn and look, throw to his left, complete to Jalen Pinson. Marable top shot, first down as he slung out of bounds towards the Tornado sideline.
Taken out of bounds by Bryant. First down.
Brian on the tackle for the Mountaineers. He is a junior wide receiver and defensive back. Getting a lot of playing time tonight and a lot of workout too.
Ball at the 44 for Alcoa. Running back in the backfield with Manu. They'll fake the carry. He'll drop back, look to throw. He's got a man. It's Jalen Pinson. There goes Jalen to the 15, 10, 5, end zone. A Delosier auction touchdown for Jalen Pinson. A great strike by Manu and Scott yet again. They find the tight end open, and he's got room to run and no one on him.
And Manu put that perfectly on him. That was a really good-looking pass. Got him in stride, just made it easier for him to head on down the field.
Well, and I think the frustrating thing, if you're the Heritage defense, is that's twice alone in this drive that the tight end has slipped out. There's the snap. And Scott, the reason he got that, and if I'm Alcoa here, I maybe start doing this on 2, is he's timing this perfectly. He's backing up, and he's dead sprinting, but trying to give himself enough space that as soon as they snap it, he's full speed, and he's able to make that block. If you're Alcoa and you're noticing that, you now tell your extra point team, hey, this time on 2, let's get him off sides.
Well, and you saw exactly what I saw down here on the other end earlier, just how close he was on timing that, and that time he got back there.
Well, kudos to him. I mean, perfect timing for that play, and a great with the extra point block. It is now 20-0.
And Heath, a quick Hardy scoreboard update just heard over the speaker here just a second ago. William Blount trailing West right now, 10-0.
Looking to kind of get the last part of their season on track after a tough one against Alcoa earlier this year. Team that's undergone a lot of changes this kind of right the ship and get back to the model of consistency. That one a tough out on offense. $20-0 your score right now for Alcoa in the lead. Continue to see what they can do, but the Mountaineers looking to see if they can respond. The offense has had a couple of bright spots in it, just haven't been able to consistently put everything together. The one thing I feel like that's hurt them a lot, Scott, that screen game really hasn't done much for them.
No,
and then
not at all.
Alcoa's really done a good job, which they've done all year, plugging up the holes. They've got a really good rushing defense.
And a quick update to go back to that, West now leading William Blount, it says 10-7. So William Blount hanging in there.
Tried to find Dylan Burgess across the middle. Man Henry able to break that one up for an incompletion. It's now 2nd and 10.
Pass intended for Burgess is incomplete.
But the surprising one right now, Heath, last I saw, yes, still in the first quarter showing Science Hill 10, Maryville 0.
Trips to the left, 2 receivers to the right. Empty backfield for McNeil. McNeil gets a snap, turns, looks to the right side, complete. He's got a man, and he's got a first down. So a good strike and a great, even better job by Bryant doing the rest. And like I said, Scott, empty backfield. Get some playmakers out in open space and let them go to work. That's what the Mountaineers do there, and Bryant able to pick up a first down for Heritage.
Yeah, one of the things we were talking about, so it's quick hitters.
Right back to the line of scrimmage they go. Before they get the snap off, they'll turn, get an adjustment from the sidelines. They'll stay right now in the empty backfield.
But right now they've got 3 receivers and 2 covering.
They'll throw it across the middle. They've got a man again. He slips the tackle but falls forward. That was number 11, Troy Irving, who picks up the first down. Good catch by the sophomore.
Yeah, he says Mema Henry came out of his defensive end position and ran over in a line looking like he was trying to get in between that. Ended up overrunning it, allowing number 11 for Heritage, that's Irvin, to make a catch and get some extra yards. And that is about the 3rd or 4th first down for Heritage.
So 1st and 10, ball on the 44. This time they will bring a running back into the backfield. I believe that's Bowers behind McNeil. Trips to the left. They'll change the positioning of the receivers on the trip side. They'll now bring the tight end from right to left of the formation. Clock will continue to roll, and Scott, I think they just didn't like what they saw there, so they're going to take a timeout. That is a Bill Cox Furniture timeout on the field. We'll take one with them. 8:03 to go in the second quarter, 20-0. Alcoa. We'll be back soon. Carpet game of the week. As he'll bring the running back down for a loss, and it's now going to be 2nd, and they'll say 12. Fans, make sure you stay tuned for Trevor's Tornado Trivia, brought to you by John Laycamp of State Farm. You've trusted the Dunkles for your sports coverage. Now you can trust Trevor Dunkel at John Laycamp State Farm for your insurance needs. From auto to home to life, we've got you covered. Ask for Trevor or John. Can't wait to see what trivia question Trevor's drawn up for us this week. As the Mountaineers right now on offense, they'll get things going again. 2nd and 12. Matty McNeil feels some pressure, and you can put him in a bag. He's sacked. Kenny Harris is the one back there bringing him to the turf. And the Mountaineers continue to move in the wrong direction.
Good coverage by the Alcoa defensive backs as they made it hard for him to find anyone down the field to throw to, allowing the defensive line to get back there and get to him.
Some Hardy scoreboard updates for you. Gibbs leading Fulton 14-0 in the second quarter. Also a little collegiate scoreboard update for you. Louisville leading Miami 14-7 in the first. It's an interesting score. Heritage will drop back, turn it, set up a wide receiver screen. Ethan Bryant has it, but Bryant's going to move backwards as well. As Scott, there's the sophomore linebacker, Man Henry, on the spot and the tackle.
And a good open field tackle as he just got him with that big paw of his and just held on until he was able to bring him down. But like I said, Heritage was doing better when throwing the ball down the field and not left and right, side to side. And it's allowing Alcoa's defenders to get to him too quick.
So it looks like this time it won't be any question. Instead of an offensive play that turns into a quarterback pooch kick, this one is going to be the punt team. As they get the formation up and ready, it'll be, looks like Jameer Dean back to receive at the 45. Good high kick from McNeil. Dean with a risky job there trying to come up and make that catch that was falling in front of him. Luckily able to bring it in.
Well, good concentration as he had Sudrith right there coming up on him as well, trying to make sure that Sudrith didn't get blocked into him.
It'll put the ball at the 43. The Tornadoes will come back out on offense. 5:31 to go in the second quarter. 20-0. Alcoa in the lead.
And Carter 14, also 0.
They have two receivers out to the left. That's Abuhanya and Cooper. Jameer Dean on the right side of the formation. Jalen Pinson, the tight end on the left. Mono will turn, fake the handoff. He'll look down the field. He'll look to air it out. He's got him again. Will he have it? He will. There's Jameer Dean, and there's a Delosier Auction touchdown.
What he didn't connect to earlier, he wanted to give him another shot, and this time got him in stride.
A 57-yard strike between Manu and Dean. This time, Manu makes the necessary adjustments, puts some air underneath it, and allows Dean to run right under it and make the play. Now, Scott, you score. Do you go for two, or do you just tell your team on your extra point, hey, don't snap it initially. Let's go on two with the snap so we get that young man to jump. After they blocked the extra point earlier, it looks like Alcoa is going to go for it to see if they can get those points back. It'll be Micah Jones in the backfield with Manu. They've also got Big Ton in the game. They've got two receivers out to the left. Jalen Pinson back there as well. They'll turn, they'll hand it off. There goes Micah Jones. Good tackle by the Mountaineers, and they'll have him fall short. So he will not get the two-point conversion after a good attempt. It was the Mountaineers who stood tall there on special teams, and it is now 26-0. Alcoa with 5:15 left to go in the second quarter. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back here in a moment on the David Zabby Carpet Game of the Week.
Kick is into the end zone for a touchback.
We welcome you back into the David Zabby Carpet Game of the Week. 5:15 left to go in the second quarter. 26-0. Alcoa, how did we get to only 26 points? Well, we'll tell you. Alcoa, after their last touchdown, had an extra point blocked. Then this time, when they just scored moments ago, tried to go for two to get those points back, and the Mountaineers were able to stop them. So 26-0 your score. The Mountaineers still looking for their first points of the day. Credit to the Alcoa defense standing tall and making some solid plays so far tonight. They have not allowed much for Heritage, especially running the football, as this is a stout Alcoa defense. Only allowed 100 yards rushing to one team this season. The rest they've kept under 100 yards.
And that was one of the alumni games, Heath. Will it happen again?
They'll turn, they'll hand the football off. Here's a little bit more space and room to run. Gets to the second level of the defense before he's tackled as Bowers. It's going to be second and around 3.
Avahanya on the tackle for Alcoa, stopping him about 3 yards short, but he had a good head of steam trying to get up through that line. Alcoa not able to stop him on that play, but they have been for most of the game.
So second and 3, ball on the 27. McNeil looking over to the sidelines to get the play call. Got Dylan Burgess, the receiver, out to the left. It looks like Bryant and also Irving on the right side of the formation. Bowers in the backfield behind McNeil. They'll turn, they'll hand it off to Bowers. Bowers now cuts it out to the outside. Good block, he's got some space, and he's got a first down. He'll go towards the Mountaineers sideline, but not before he picks up that first down, and he's taken down at the 37.
Yeah, I think he had a good run. I think a little bit of a hold there on the end, though, as the defender tried to break free. But either way, a good run for Heritage. Gets a first down and keeps them moving in the right direction.
Well, for the Mountaineers, one of the key players in this game is Thomas Bowers, the leading rusher for the Mountaineers this year. And if you can get Bowers out in space and maybe get him going a little bit, maybe it'll allow for some more things to open up offensively for you. Dropping back is McNeil. He'll turn, he'll throw, he'll complete it. A 2-yard gain.
Nowhere at all right there for Brian as he gets hit immediately as the ball gets to him. They're going to give him actually 3 yards on that play, or a kind 2.5 at least. But Heritage is getting back, getting set, and getting ready as Alcoa again attempts to try to stop him and hold him.
2nd and 7. McNeil will look over to the sidelines, get the necessary adjustments. They've got Burgess and Bryan on the left side of the formation. No receivers to the right. A tight end on the left side as well. Tornadoes looking like they're going to send a blitz. They'll hand the football up the middle, looking for space and won't have it. As Bowers, he'll fall forward though to pick up 1.
Bowers, a gain of 1.
Yeah, Stennett looked like Avahanya as well, joining in on the tackle.
3rd down.
But as he said, just a gain of about 1, making it 3rd down now and 6 for the Mountaineers.
It is 3rd and 6. Ball at the 41. Heritage making a substitution, trying to get him out in time. And now bringing someone else in. That's number 34, Riley Isbell, the junior wide receiver coming into the game. It'll be trips to the left, 2 receivers to the right, empty backfield for McNeil.
Yeah, Irvin not real happy having to come out of the game. You see it on his face. And they're going to say Alcoa jumped.
Penalty of false start against Mountaineers.
Nope, they're actually going to call it on the
I
Mountaineers.
was say, I didn't see anybody jump for Alcoa.
Well, I couldn't tell on the interior line. I saw some movement. And I thought they were going to call Alcoa on him. Apparently, Heritage moved on the clap instead.
You know, that substitution took a little bit too long. I think just kind of threw off the rhythm of the offense. It's now 3rd and 11.
Yeah, and Heritage continuing to use a lot of clock in between each play.
Well, it kind of reminds me of what we saw, especially early on in that South Doyle game, where South Doyle was just really content to try to keep the ball as long as they could, because as long as they had it, the Alcoa offense didn't, and they just wanted to kind of slow this game down, and that kind of what feels like what we're seeing here as well from Heritage. Dropping back is McNeil. He'll throw it. He's got a man. Does he hold on to it? I believe he will. Great concentration to hold on to that football by Tegan Ruling.
Yeah, a really good catch by Ruling. Looks like they're going to give him about 10 yards on the catch. But they're going to back that Yeah, 10 yards on that little different angle here. But that's going to end up making it about 4th and 1 for the Mountaineers.
And it looks like the Mountaineers are going to go for it at the 46, 4th and 1. Tornadoes start to look to bring pressure. Now they'll make some adjustments as Kate Stinnett calls things out to Abu Hania. The defense moves around and gets in place. Looks like they're seeing some things here that they expect for the Mountaineers. They'll turn, they'll throw it out quickly. It's complete, and a low throw, but gets just enough. And a few more after that goes Dylan Burgess on the ground for a first down.
The gain is a Mountaineer, first down.
It's good movement for Heritage. The thing, though, right now is the way Heritage has been wasting a lot of clock. They're down to about 1:15 left. They've still got about 50 yards to go.
So 1st and 10 at the 50 for Heritage. Empty backfield, though, it will remain as Madden will drop back, throw it across the middle. Running across the field is Bowers. Bowers turns on the Jets. Bowers picks up a first down. Escorted out of 7.
But the gain is a Mountaineer.
Clock. Heritage trying to get something up.
Timeouts as well if they want to use them. Alcoa's got 3. Here was the thing, though, Scott, a moment ago on that 4th down play, it was the adjustment by Alcoa that helped Heritage get that first down. They saw something, backed up their DBs, and then gave them the necessary space to make that throw. McNeil's going to launch one now towards the corner, and I believe it's intercepted. He tried to throw it along the sidelines and complete it to number 14, Dylan Burgess.
They're going to give it to Heritage in the way, if I remember this right, if both players have the ball in possession and they go out of bounds, the receiver gets the credit for the catch.
Yeah, but it didn't look like that from here, and maybe it was just my view. It looked like Dale Hughes had it, and after he went out of bounds, the receiver reached in and tried to rip it away from him.
They were both hugging the ball as they went out of bounds.
Well, great turn of events for the Mountaineers, as now they're only 10 yards away from Pater. Can Heritage get some points on the board here before the halftime? 47.9 seconds to go in the second quarter. Because he went out of bounds, the clock is stopped. Trips bunch set on the left side. Bowers to the left of McNeil as well. He'll roll out to that strong side look. Here comes the pressure. McNeil now will have to take off. He looks like he's going to run with it. He'll throw it to the back of the end zone. Incomplete, but Scott, 2 flags thrown in the backfield.
Pass to Burgess, incomplete, flag on the play.
I don't know if I didn't see, because we were watching the throw, if it was a holding call or if roughing the passer. I'm not sure which.
It'll be a penalty on the Mountaineers.
So you definitely want to back them up if you're Alcoa.
Penalty against the Mountaineers.
We'll see where that'll put them. It looks like it'll place them at the, looked like maybe they were spotting them around the 19, but now it looks like they're getting reset, and we'll see the ref take his steps. So the ref moves from the 10. He'll put the ball down at the 25.
So lucky break for Alcoa, as Heritage has been moving the ball down the field with ease. But now the clock is not Heritage's friend.
So it'll be 1st and 25 for Heritage. 37.5 seconds remain in the second quarter. Trips to the left, 2 receivers to the right, empty backfield for McNeil. Didn't see something they liked, and they're going to take a timeout. So timeout on the field. We'll take one too. 37.5 seconds remain, and it is 26-0 Tornadoes. We'll be right back. coming back. We welcome you back in for the timeout. 37 seconds left to go for the Mountaineers. They're dropping back here on 1st and 25, looking down the field, incomplete. Now be second down, 32.2 seconds on the clock. 25 yards away from the end zone as the Mountaineers have put a nice drive together, trying to find their first points of the day.
You're not sure who he was throwing that to, if he was just trying to throw it away, but the only thing around that ball and that location where he threw it was all white jerseys.
So they'll get back to it here. They're going to have trips to the left side. Looks like a single receiver to the right. Bowers will be in the backfield with McNeil. McNeil calling things out to his offense. They're getting set. Looks like they've got Dale Hughes, Mason Laster, and Man Henry out in coverage on the trip side. Mountaineers trying to run a trick play, a little bit of a reverse action, and he's maybe going to get maybe a yard. I don't even know if they're going to give him that. And then, Scott, that's going to burn a lot of clock off for the Mountaineers. They're going to have to probably burn that final timeout here, and I think they will.
Tackle by Sutter.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch Alcoa off guard, I believe, on that. Alcoa, though, the interior line had already gotten back into the backfield, so made the runner have to swing out a little wider and allowed the defensive backs to get up on the edge at that point.
Yeah, bowed back a little bit more than he wanted to, and so unable to get north and south until the last minute, and then the defensive wall was there waiting for him. So it's now 20.6 seconds remaining in the second. That was the final timeout by the Mountaineers, and it's now 3rd and 25. Curious the leg of their kicker, Scott, if they only get, let's say, 5 to 10 yards here. Does your kicker have the leg to be able to at least get 3 points on the board, or do you go for it?
Well, and the thing is, Heath, right now it's 3rd and goal, and you're at the 25-yard line. You get something positive out of it, because if you fail on this and you don't get anything, and you go to the locker room after that, you're going to be a little bit more demoralized.
Looks like their kicker this season, Gavin Hyatt, is 2 of 4 this season. He's made 2 inside of 20 yards, 1 inside of 30, and 1 also inside of 40. He has a long of 34 yards this season. He's also had 2. The 2 ones he missed, Scott, were missed because they were blocked. So 2 of 4 kicking this year with a long of 34 yards. McNeil will drop back. He's got a man across the middle, but all he sees is the pressure by the Alcoa Tornadoes. He escapes it, throws, and it's intercepted. Damari DeBose now is trying to cut it across the field to see if he can get to the end zone. He's got some blockers around him trying to help lead the way. He turns on the Jets. He's got some space, and he's got a Delosier auction touchdown, Alcoa.
And I'll be honest with you, there could have been a flag called right now on number 11 for Heritage. They're not going to call it because Alcoa just scored. But as soon as he took off down the field with that interception, Irvin just ripped his helmet off and just stood there.
Well, and if you're a Heritage, Scott, at the break, if you can pull up that play and kind of talk to McNeil about it, he had a guy open across the middle. But, Scott, he took his eyes off the receiver because he felt some pressure, and then it caused him to lose that receiver in the mess, roll out, and then try to force a football to someone else. And that was where the interception came into play. Kudos to Damari DeBose, Scott, cutting all the way across the field, and the defense recognizing and trying to set up a wall and help lead him in for 6, and they did just that.
Yeah, and, of course, DeBose has such great speed anyway. Once he got past that initial group of the Mountaineers, he was able to get it down the field. Nothing but green in front of him. Had a escort or two to help him get down there, but you know, like you said, the quarterback was running for his life back there and just threw something, and like you said, probably thought he saw somebody break free, tried to force it in there, but he forced it right to the Alcoa player.
Well, and then again, that's where you got to talk to him at halftime, kind of look back at that film and say, hey, you've got to stay in the pocket, stay strong, and deliver that football and be willing to take that hit, because we had a man across the middle wide open. He might not have scored, but he probably would have gotten them at least inside the 15 and made it a lot easier should they have wanted to go for 3 points with Gavin Hyatt, who score. And now, Scott, you got to look out for that guy on the edge who's been timing it perfectly. Do you try to go to snap it on 2 here and see if you can get him to jump?
No, what you've done is added an extra blocker on that side.
Kick is up. Kick is good. So as we go to halftime, because there's nothing left on the clock, it is 33-0. Alcoa, what a way to finish the first half if you're the Tornadoes, as now they'll go into the break, Scott, up over the 30-point line, and you know what that means as we start second half.
Favorite time of the football game for you.
Mercy rule will be in effect. Again, 33-0 your score at the half. We are going to take a break. When we come back, it'll be time to bring to you the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show here on 94.3 Jack FM. We'll be back in a moment. Of the week, it is now time for the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show. Heath Dunkel alongside Coulter Tao, 33-0 your score. Tornadoes with a commanding lead, and now it's time to turn it over to our statistician Coulter for a breakdown. Go ahead, Coulter.
Thank you, Heath. So far for the Tornadoes offensively, 241 total offensive yards, 165 of that through the air, and 76 of that on the ground. Quarterback Thomas Manu has 7 completions on 8 attempts for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. Running back Micah Jones with 3 rush attempts for 25 yards and a rushing touchdown. Tight end Jalen Penson having a stellar day with 3 receptions for 83 yards and a touchdown. Wide receiver Jameer Dean with 1 reception for 57 yards and a touchdown. Running back Damari DeBose with 2 rushes for 8 yards and a 90-yard interception that went for a touchdown. Running back Connus Cherry with 4 rushes for 43 yards and a touchdown. And wide receiver Jacoby Cooper with 3 receptions for 25 yards. Looking over at the Heritage side of things, they have 94 total yards of total offense so far, 93 of that through the air and only 1 of that on the ground. Quarterback Madden McNeil with 12 completions on 15 attempts and 93 yards. He's been sacked twice by this Tornado defense. Running back Thomas Bowers with 9 rush attempts for 23 yards and 1 reception that went 13 yards. Wide receiver Ethan Bryant with 5 receptions for 32 yards, and wide receiver Troy Irvin with 4 receptions for 40 yards, and wide receiver Tegan Ruin with 1 reception for 10 yards.
Coulter, what were the biggest stats that stood out to you in the first half that you were most impressed with?
Well, Heath, so far looking at the Tornado side of things, usually this offense is very balanced, but we kind of have a 90-yard separation between that pass game and the run game. So Thomas Manu has just been able to air it out so well so far, and it helps when you have guys like Jameer Dean and Jalen Penson being able to have those yak plays, yards after catch.
Who right now, because I'm curious to see who comes out here in the second half. I almost feel like we'll roll our starters out for part, if not all of the third quarter. But at this moment, if none of the starters come back out, who's your player of the game?
Penson or Damari DeBose. Damari DeBose obviously just had that huge 90-yard pick 6 leading in.
But we try to spread the love. One of the things that's really helped is Alcoa's done a good job just kind of hiding him in the offense, and then he's been able to sneak out twice and being able to really make Heritage pay defensively. So he's been fun to watch, and then kudos to Damari. It was a great interception, that, he could have very well just caught and took a knee and took it to the half. He was like, no, I'm taking this to the house. And the defense was able to recognize Damari cutting across the field and go, okay, we're coming. And then they kind of just led the charge field into the end zone. And then kudos to him turning on the Jets because he had one player just outran him and was able to score. So 33-0 your score. It looks like Alcoa made the necessary adjustments after that extra point block, sent an extra blocker to not allow them to get that running start again. I thought that was really good by Alcoa as well. I was curious how they were going to make up for that block moments ago. But yeah, been a really good game so far. Take me back to the Heritage Mountaineer stats. How many rushing yards so far tonight?
They have only one rushing yard. A lot of those are from negative gains because this quarterback's been sacked twice, obviously. But running back Thomas Bowers has been able to have a decent game so far. He's had a couple of those long chunk runs, but sometimes he's just ran into this brick wall of a defense where he loses a couple of yards.
Yeah, this defense, again, just continuing to pick up where they left off before the break. You almost wanted the fall break, re-energize them, and they've come in ready to play today. Great game so far for the Tornadoes. We'll see if they can keep it up in the second half. You're listening to the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show. When we come back, it'll be Trevor Dunkel on the headset, and he's going to talk a little bit of some scores around the area and also Trevor's Tornado Trivia. Stay tuned to find out here in a moment. And it's the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show, and it's 33-0. Alcoa in the lead here at the half. Great start for the Alcoa Tornadoes. We'll see what else they can do here in a few minutes, about 13 minutes away from third quarter action. But right now in the headset with me, Trevor Dunkel, who each and every week does a great job getting us a breakdown of how some other teams in the area are doing. But what he also does really well is Trevor's Tornado Trivia, named in his honor. And so each week he's got some fun trivia for us, and we've got some fun prizes that we give away. So Trevor, take it away.
Thank you, Heath. So again, Trevor's Tornado Trivia brought to you by John Lakehamp State Farm. You've trusted the Dunkels for your sports coverage. Now trust Trevor Dunkel at John Lakehamp State Farm for your insurance needs. From auto to homes of life, we've got you covered. As for John or myself, Trevor at 423-894-5568. Or reach out to 2 Hype Sports for more information. So now it's time for Trevor's Tornado Trivia. We're getting it ready on both Twitter and Facebook right now. Question is, Alcoa and Heritage have been playing off and on since Heritage's first founding year. It took, in 1977, it took them 4 tries for Heritage to get its first win against Alcoa. Which Heritage Mountaineer head coach was the one to finally beat the Tornadoes? So that's, like I said, it's going up on both social media platforms right now as we speak. And that is posted. So moving on to the Hardy Scoreboard updates. Got quite a few games going on right now. Some region play games, some non-region. So Anderson County hosting Union County tonight. This game is actually closer than I thought it would be. We would think that Anderson County would go in, like almost every opponent Union County is. In the first quarter right now, it is 14-7. Anderson County with the 1 touchdown lead. Wow. And then I know you'll love to hear Gibbs leading 28-0, looking to get their third region win of the season, trying to battle for playoffs. matchup. Carter hosting Austin East right now. They're still in the first quarter. Carter leading that 14-0. Also South Doyle in a non-region matchup. Clinton leading that 14-0 in the second. I think that was also somewhat of a surprise for myself.
Yes, it is.
And then Elizabethton, 6-1 so far this season, hosting Sullivan East, who's 0-7. Elizabethton leading 14-0 in the first. And Greenville over Volunteer right now, 21-0 in the first. As we talked about earlier, we thought that one would be playing the way that it is.
Right, and that also will set up the matchup between Greenville and Elizabethton at the end of the year.
Oh, yeah. Ray County traveling to Loudon tonight. At the half, Ray County leading that 21-0. So if they hold on to this and get the win, they could say they own that county as they defeated Lenoir City a couple of weeks ago. Then moving over to 5A. Last night, as I mentioned earlier, Central getting the win over Halls. And right now, William Blunt hosting West. As we've given a few updates on that, and I know Heritage loves to hear this score. West leading William Blunt 31-7 in the second quarter. And this, another surprising score right now. 6-0 Powell hosting Jefferson County right now, 0-0 in the second quarter, so no score there. And then Sevier County and Tennessee knotted up right now, 7 each in the second quarter, so another surprising score there.
Sevier County still smarting from that loss to Grace Christian.
Oh, maybe. Walker Valley leading Lenoir City right now, 35-7 in the second. Then moving over to 6A, Maryville scoring a couple of touchdowns after Science Hill. It got a touchdown and a field goal. So 14-10 in the second. Rebels leading that one. Oak Ridge with a touchdown lead over Hardin Valley, 14-7 in the second. At the half, Cleveland leading Bearden 14-3. And Westridge leading Morristown East 21-0 in the second. And then Greenback hosting Oakdale tonight at a game that Greenback really needs if they want to make their way into the playoffs. Greenback leading 7-0 in the first. And then Greenback should be rooting for Coalfield tonight, and that should help as Coalfield's leading 28-0 in the second. And then last but not least, Polk County leading Eagleton 23-7 in the second. Hate seeing that score. Eagleton, now a high school, used to be my middle school. And then also seeing Heritage losing. Not fun seeing both of those be losing tonight.
Well, sometimes it happens.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Oh, a good game. We knew this one was going to be this way, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, expected this. I expected a little higher score. It was interesting to see Heritage kind of move their way down the field and almost score. Made a few mistakes there at the end, but Alcoa scoring the touchdown off those mistakes as well. Another update, as we gave you guys earlier, Louisville leading number 2 in the country, Miami, 14-7 with about 5 minutes left in the first half. And then Nebraska, 25th in the country, just started their game against Minnesota. So no score there as they're about 30 seconds into that game. So that'll be a fun matchup to keep an eye on as well. And then Blue Jays leading the Mariners 2-1 in the bottom of the 6th. So a couple of professional updates, especially with baseball being in the playoffs.
Right. Getting towards the end of the season and getting close to that World Series as the Blue Jays just routed the Mariners earlier.
Oh, definitely. And then Brewers at the Dodgers later tonight. That will be coming on in about 20 minutes.
All right, good deal, Trevor. As Alcoa's band just completed their segment. Hang on 1 second for me. And the Heritage Band now coming up. While they're doing that, we're going to take a couple of minutes here for a quick break. And when I come back, I'll have Trevor back with me as you're listening to the Stevens Entire Halftime Show as part of the David's Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. Let's take a break. We'll be back here in just a couple of minutes. All right, welcome back to the David's Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. You're listening to the Stevenson Tower Halftime Show. This is Scott Dunkel alongside Trevor Dunkel as we are hearing a little bit of the sounds of the Heritage Band in the background there as they are now performing on the field. Trevor, you went over some of the scores just a few minutes ago. Are you seeing anything look like it's shaping up for the playoffs so far already, that what teams look like they may not quite be able to make it?
We'll just talk about the playoffs in general, maybe not exactly who may make it, who may not, but I think one of the only games, at least in our region, that you can kind of see who's going to win that is Gibbs. Anderson County playing a little too close to Union County right now to really call that 14-7 right now. But Gibbs leading Fulton, that's going to put them at 3-2 for the season. Anderson County will probably come out with that win on Union County. They should jump Carter, both being 4-1 in the region, but Anderson County has that win over Carter. Again, that would put Gibbs at 3-2. Heritage after this will probably be 2-3, right there with South Doyle, but they have that win over South Doyle. But still, Heritage looking on the outside, looking in. At the end of tonight, it'd probably be Alcoa, Anderson County, Carter, Gibbs.
Yeah, I really feel like you're going to need at least 4 wins to be able to get into the playoffs in this particular region. As you were stating there, Heath, Alcoa, Carter, and Anderson County. Well, Anderson County will have their 4th win tonight. Gibbs should have their 3rd if everything hangs on. One that's going to be a really interesting matchup for both teams will be next week as Gibbs and Heritage face off there at Ernest Whitehead Stadium there at the Eagles' home, as Heritage will travel next week. That could make or break the playoff scenario there as well. Alcoa going to Carter should be able to keep that one in pretty good shape.
Thank you, Scott, for calling me Heath. Love it. Reminds me of my childhood. As you were saying, one thing to look out for Gibbs, they've got it kind of tough at the end of the season, playing both Heritage and Carter. They get to play both at home, so that will help them. But those 2 games are going to basically make or break the playoffs. If Gibbs wins out, then you've got Carter and Heritage down there trying to battle at the bottom. But Gibbs really can make or break their season in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I did that because you said that to me earlier, Trevor. But anyway, I'm with you there. If Gibbs wins out, they very well could pull into the number 2 spot, as the loss that they would have have been to Alcoa alongside South Doyle's loss as well. But that won't hurt them as much at the moment, because if Anderson County stays where they're at, they'll be playing Alcoa. Alcoa, if they win out, that will give Anderson County the 2nd loss. Gibbs gets that head-to-head against them. That would bump them up above Anderson County. But Carter pretty much in the driver's seat for whatever they can finish up with here. They do have the loss to Anderson County, though, so if Anderson County maintains, then they'll have the bump above Carter when everything is said and done.
Yeah, so no telling how our region is going to shape up. As I mentioned earlier, Region 1, a region we're going to keep an eye on, as that's the region we'll match up first with in the playoffs. That one looks like you can kind of guess who's going to be where to a point. Elizabethton, like you said earlier, Elizabethton and Greenville playing at the end of the season will determine that 1st and 2nd place spots. And then also Volunteer and Cherokee playing next week will most likely shape up who's 3rd and who's 4th, unless Seymour can make get some upsets. Next week they're playing Elizabethton, so unfortunately I don't see that happening. They should get the win against Granger at the end of the season, but at that point it'll be a little bit too late. So my prediction is probably Elizabethton, Greenville. I'm going to say Volunteer gets the win over Cherokee and just shape up that way, but definitely some interesting matchups going into the end of the season. And wanted to talk a little bit about 5A as well. Central getting that win over Halls last night. They were tied in 2nd before going into that game. Now Central 4-1 in the region. Halls 3-2. William Blunt does not look like they'll be getting a win tonight, as West is leading them. So that will actually knock William Blunt down enough to maybe even miss the playoffs. and knock West back into the conversation, as that would put William Blount at 2 and 3. Carnes is at 2 and 3. They're off this week, and then West 2 and 3. And West having that win over William Blount helps them. It puts them and Carnes up above, or kind of tied with William Blount in a way. So, and then you've also got Halls down there with those as well. So looks like Powell and Central will probably take those first 2 spots, and then you've got 4 teams battling for the bottom 2.
Right, and that was one of the things Heath and I both had talked to the West staff after the game. We were talking to them up in the press box a little bit and telling them, you know, you guys have started with a rough start, but correct a few things here when it comes to region play, and you guys very well could be back in the mix. Oh, yeah, yeah. Starting off with Maryville and Central, Alcoa, and then Halls, when Halls decided they wanted to be really good and beat a few teams. Definitely a very difficult schedule to start off with. They've won the games they're supposed to win, like Campbell County and Clinton. And then we're kind of close to some of those others. They about 8 points away from Central earlier in the season, and only a field goal away from Halls. So very close games in the games that should have been close. So no, doesn't sound like they've made any dumb mistakes in those games, but beating William Blount could be a very good step in the right direction for their season, as they've got Carnes and Powell to end it at the end of the season. I think they could go maybe 1-1 after tonight. Yeah, and looking over at 6A, trying to see what we had over here, as well as Dobbins Bennett having a very good year as well. Maryville, though, Maryville being Maryville, a little slow start against Science Hill. Good thing it's not a region game anyway. But another team, and this is going to be one of those at the end of the year, a much improved Oak Ridge team coming in, could possibly very well come in against Maryville at 9-0. Maryville would come in at 8-1. But you know, that's a game that definitely want to put and circle on there, as 2 really good 6A teams are going to be facing off a little bit here in just a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, Maryville has a very difficult end of schedule with Bradley Central and Oak Ridge. So definitely want to keep an eye on those. Quick update. This is starting to make a little bit more sense on this score. Anderson County has opened it up in the second quarter, 30-7 against Union County. So another game that maybe we can add to a win column a little bit early for Anderson County.
Yeah, that was one you were just kind of waiting on. You knew it was going to happen. It's just a matter of when they were going to start getting things to click and getting things moving.
And that's something Alcoa needs to pay attention to. If Anderson County starts off slow, make sure you pop off in the first quarter. That makes it difficult for them to make any kind of comeback going into the rest of the game, as that's Alcoa's last game of the season on Halloween. And they actually just scored again to make it 37-7 with about a little less than 9 minutes left in that game.
Well, there's a good rundown right there for you of some of the possible playoff scenarios, and also how things are going
30 or more after half.
throughout the area, and throughout at least especially East Tennessee area towards the playoffs and so forth. We got a good one here as Alcoa leads Heritage 33-0. Both teams now back out on the field as they are getting loosened up for the second half. While they're doing that, we're going to take a break. And when I return, we should have Heath back on the headset with me to talk about what we expect to see in the second half. Again, you're listening to the David's Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. This is the Stevenson Tire Halftime Show. This is Scott Dunkel alongside Trevor Dunkel. Stay with us. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you.
This is my mic. This is actually my
The other one doesn't work, so it's gonna have
What other one?
that one. Take yours and your dad earlier.
Hey, Tim, whoa, this is loud. Really loud in my head. There we go. Can you hear me? Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Carpet game of the week. You've been listening to the Stevenson Tire halftime show. That's winding down as we've got about a minute left to go before third quarter action begins. Scott, something to talk to you about right now as we get ready for the second half. If you're Alcoa here, I'm curious, do you keep your starters in a little bit longer, or do you go ahead and move to the backups? You've got your mercy roll, but is it enough?
Well, it's what we've talked about all season, Heath, that Alcoa will probably keep them in at least a series or two, possibly to kind of get a little bit better cushion there on the score, if at all possible, and then let their second and third units come in if need be, and get some more experience.
Yeah, I tend to think the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them at least 1 to 2 series here in the third quarter, try to get another score or two on the board. Give yourself enough of a cushion that once your backups come in, should the Mountaineers be able to get it down the field and score, it doesn't stop mercy roll. So now both teams making their way towards the sidelines. But Scott, if you're Heritage, you have to hope maybe find, I know it's not the score you want to see on the scoreboard, but there were some really good things as well to take away from that final drive.
Yeah, that final drive, really thought they were going to be able to get down there and do something. Unfortunately, a costly penalty backs them up back to the 25, making it 20, goal to go. It's not something you want to see from the 25-yard line. Again, tried to force the ball and end up throwing the interception, giving away a touchdown. But Heritage received the ball to start the game with. Alcoa will get it now to start the second half.
Yeah, one of those things where you got yourself close to the end zone and then you dug a hole with that penalty, and then you just tried to force it to really try to get those points, and instead you gave points away. So see what adjustments the Mountaineers have made. We'll see what adjustments Alcoa has made as well to kind of tighten things up a little bit defensively, not allow a drive like that to happen again. But right now we're going to see what this Alcoa offense can do with it. You've got Jameer Dean back to receive. Also, it looks like, I believe, Condis Cherry, and I believe on the far side, I think that's Damari DeBose waiting for the kickoff.
The kick, Dean, Cherry, and DeBose beat.
Gavin Hyatt back to kick for the Mountaineers. And he will boot this one away. Looks an onside kick that looks like it's going to work out for Heritage. Did he get it in time? I think he fell on it right before that ball went out of bounds. Alcoa was not prepared.
And I actually...
Oh, they're going to say it went out of bounds before he fell on it, and it'll be tornado football.
So close, but a smart play. And
it was a good play by Heritage. Good play call.
I thought of that.
Oh, really?
Will they try to come out and onside kick it? Alcoa definitely would not be expecting that.
Yeah.
And just missed getting that before it went out of bounds.
Too bad you don't have replay you can go to if you're Heritage, because that was a close one on the sidelines. I thought he fell on it before it went out. But instead, the referees will say it did not. We do not have instant replay, and it will be tornado football at the 43.
Give it time. It'll come.
Trips bunch set to the right side. They're not going to move that. Manu will pitch that way to the short side of the field, and it's Condis Cherry. Cherry will now cut it all the way back to the other side, make one man miss, make another miss. Look at him go. Electricity by Condis Cherry, picks up the first down. He may be moving backwards, however, as there is a flag on the play.
It looks like two, and they came out at different times, so I'm not sure what referee saw what.
Well, and here's the thing, it's really hard on that offensive line, Scott, when you're flowing the play one way and then you cut back the other as they're trying to hold off those defenders, and sometimes you're going to get caught with a holding penalty, making them go the wrong direction. So it looks like it is going to be on Alcoa, and it is going to move the Tornadoes in reverse.
And it'll be marked off on where it occurred, so it'll bring it back 10 yards, but it'll make it first down in about, looks like they're going to say 7.
So back to first down for Alcoa. 1st and 7 it'll now be. Trips to the right, 2 receivers to the left. Empty backfield for Manu. Heritage looks to bring pressure. Here it comes. Manu gets it out quickly, complete to Jameer Dean, and a first down. A Maryville top shot first down for Alcoa. Jameer Dean stretches out the football for a few more yards as he's taken out of bounds.
Manu's pass complete to Dean.
Ball down at the 45.
First down, Alcoa.
Trips to the right, 2 receivers to the left, empty backfield. Manu will drop back. He'll throw to the right side this time, and it's just dropped by Jacoby Cooper. Had a screen trying to form in front of him. He just couldn't hold on to it. It was a low throw. There's a penalty flag on the plate as well as Marley Watts is down on the ground. That'll help get him up. Scott, I wonder if that's going to be a personal foul as Marley is kind of laying there after the play was over, almost like maybe he had gotten hit late.
Yeah, a little bit of late activity with Walker for the Mountaineers, and takes the Heritage or the Alcoa player to the ground. Right after that, you saw the referee's flag come out.
Well, Heritage is pointing like maybe they think it's on Alcoa, so we'll see what the ultimate call is from the referee. Do they feel like the Tornadoes instigated that one, or will it be on the Mountaineers?
It will be Mountaineers.
Jones has personal foul against Heritage.
And again, Walker with some extracurricular activity after the play.
Can't have that. Try to make necessary adjustments. Nothing more frustrating for a coaching staff to get back from halftime, talk about cleaning up penalties, being more disciplined, not letting the emotions of the game get in your way, and then a personal foul, give the other team a free 15. It'll put the football at the 30. Trips bunch set to the left side. Single receiver Jameer Dean way by himself off to the right. If he wanted to play action to go to him, he could. Instead, they'll hand it off to Condis Cherry. There goes Cherry. Cherry on the carry for a Delosier auction touchdown, Tornadoes.
The Sly Fox moves again, Heath, as he just juked and jived his way through the line. And as you said, 6 points.
Little juke, little jive, little wiggle and glide for Condis Cherry. That touchdown is good, and now here comes the extra point for Alcoa. Alcoa had 1 blocked in the first half, thanks to some really good timed up pressure by the special teams for Heritage. Alcoa sent an extra blocker on that side as we right before halftime, and we're able to make the necessary corrections to give Kyron Tyson the time he needed to make the extra point. We'll see what adjustment the Mountaineers make here. There's the snap, there's the kick. That one is up. It is good. 8:53 to go in the third quarter, 40-0. Tornadoes. We'll be back here in a moment on the David's Heavy Carpet Game of the Week. Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. And Scott, just moments ago, a penalty on the kickoff by Kyron Tyson.
Yeah, this one's starting to get a little chippier, Heath. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, Scott, I wasn't able to get a view of the play. Did you see what happened?
No, I didn't. I was watching the ball down on the end.
So return by the Mountaineers and some chippiness between the two teams. The flag is thrown. We've seen a few personal fouls tonight. Let's see who it's on here. It's going to be on the Mountaineers. It's going to move them backwards.
Both teams, it's going to offset.
Personal fouls on both teams. Offsetting.
But again, Tyson kicks the ball out of the end zone or into the end zone, which seems to be just a normal habit.
So the Mountaineers come back out on offense, 7:23 to go in the third. The clock continues to tick as we are in mercy rule. It's 40-0 Alcoa. The Mountaineers, the last time they had it on offense right before the end of the second quarter, drove it down the field, almost got into the end zone, but a penalty and then an untimely interception that didn't go their way ended up going the opposite way for Alcoa. This is a fumble by McNeil. It's picked up by Alcoa. It's man Henry, and he'll walk it in for 6. Another play that just didn't quite go the way it was scripted, Scott. Madden McNeil unable to hold on to the football, and sophomore linebacker, man Henry, as we like to call him, picked that one up and took it to the house.
Yeah, McNeil tried to pick it up. Looks like he lost the handle again. When he did, the ball rolled away from him, made an easy recovery for Henry. Henry able to get it into the end zone.
So now here comes the extra point for the Tornadoes. The snap is down. There's the kick. It's up, and it is good. Heritage got a little bit more pressure, and Scott, looks like again you saw Kyron Tyson that time after the play on the ground, and he just tried to get away from the situation, trying to make sure there wasn't any other issues between the two teams. But that extra point is up and good. Heritage tried to kind of make another adjustment, trying to still see if they get some pressure on that side and get a block. But luckily for Alcoa, able to get that one off. With 5:43 left to go in the third, it's now 47-0.
Yeah, the two Heritage players came in. When they came up on him, they both stopped or tried to stop. Momentum carried a little bit, but they both held him up, trying to hold on to him, make sure he didn't fall. As you said, Tyson wanting to make sure get away from that situation, so he just kind of did a quick sprint and away.
So now Alcoa gets ready to boot this one away to the Mountaineers again. Heritage has 2 back to receive.
So his point would have been a normal span of probably about 10 to 15 seconds. Alcoa scores twice. With the running clock, it definitely was a little bit longer than that.
Burgess and Bryant back to receive for the Mountaineers. Kyron Tyson getting ready to boot it away. And yeah, Scott, as that one gets booted into the end zone, what they don't tell you when you later look at the score sheet and the timing sheet of touchdowns is it looks like it was a 2 to 3 minute difference, but that they don't put in the little asterisk to the side is mercy rule in effect.
Yeah, a little deceiving right there.
Hey, but how about the young sophomore with a good play, a little scoop and score? He's one, Scott, I've been saying, man Henry, in my opinion, has all of the ability and talent, if he keeps putting in the work and keeps growing, to be the next Eli Owens of Alcoa.
Very well could be, yes.
I think he's a really talented young man, and he's got the size, he's got the athletic ability. If he can keep it up, I think he's going to be another guy. If you're Michigan, you might want to keep your eye on. We're under 4 minutes to go here in the third. It's 47-0. Heritage back with the football. Will make a shift on their lines. From the up back and the tight end for the left to the right of the formation. Now hand the football off and run it. It'll be a loss of 1. It's 2nd and 11.
Bowers carries, tackled by Goodson.
Thomas Bowers on the carry.
Yeah, Goodson for Alcoa on the tackle, getting back there quickly, dropping him down for a loss of 1.
So now they'll send out 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Also, looks like they may empty the backfield. Number 11 there, Troy Irving, looking over the sidelines, trying to figure out where they want him in the formation. He will now go to the right side, so it will create an empty backfield. Trips to the right, 2 receivers to the left. McNeil will get the snap. He'll drop back here. Here's some pressure. He shifts his feet, throws it across the middle. Near the ground and making the catch is Irving.
Good catch for Irving.
Yeah, it was a low throw, but he was able to get his hands up under it and make the shoestring grab. So now 2:40 left to go in the third. Clock continues to tick. Mountaineers making some substitutions.
Yeah, Mountaineers have played some really good games this year, really close. And this is not something they're used to seeing as the clock counting again or clock ticking against them.
Well, Scott, you talk about, as we have throughout the season, about who we kind of thought were going to be the top teams in the region, who the lower teams and the ones in the middle. I think you kind of seen that as well as we talked about the last time. Maybe the last time they really saw this was in that game against Anderson County. A team that will probably be battling Heritage out for the top spot in the region when the season near the end of the season. As McNeil looks on an option to pitch it, now decides to take it himself and try to cut it up the middle. Kenny Harris waiting on him for the tackle.
Right, Heath. There'll definitely be a really good game as Alcoa and Anderson County will be facing off at the end of the season. They're in an interesting date as well, as that is Halloween on the 31st, and that is a game we've had circled for a while, with the Tornadoes and the Mavericks facing off there in Anderson County.
I don't know if Trevor gave us a score update. I'm assuming he did, but I'm sure who was leading that one as Anderson played Union County this week.
Anderson spread it out. They've taken a huge lead.
They might have went ahead and taken it to the house. That game probably, I'm sure, under mercy rule. We'll turn, throw it out to the right, a completion to Bryant. Bryant will pick up a first down. Good catch by Bryant.
And Alcoa, a little lucky, looked like they could have very well gotten a roughing the passer as the Alcoa defender came up on the quarterback and just nailed him probably about 3 or 4 steps after the ball had been released.
That's twice now, though, Scott, I've seen on fourth down where it's been like fourth and a yard or two, where the DBs have given a little bit of space to those red receivers, and Heritage has taken advantage of it, giving themselves enough cushion to deliver the football.
Yeah, if you delay him the way Alcoa is getting back to that quarterback, it's going to be hard for him to find anyone open.
Absolutely. They'll turn, throw it this time to the left. Had a man, but Scott, he just couldn't hold on to it. Dylan Burgess across the middle. Number 14 for Heritage saw number 14 for Alcoa. Luca Dougherty heading his way and heard the footsteps and short-armed it.
Just a basketball move, tried to dribble it.
Clock will continue to roll. Will Heritage get another playoff here before we end the third? I would imagine they may take their time here. Let this one tick. They do not appear to be in any hurry. Now they're starting to work their way towards the sideline, so that is exactly what they will do. They will take it to the end of the third as the buzzer will sound. Your score after 3, Alcoa 47, Heritage 0. You're listening to the David's Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. We'll be back in a moment. Game of the week. As we start the fourth quarter, it's 47-0. Alcoa Heritage with the football. And they'll turn. McNeil will look. He'll throw it. And broken up by the Tornadoes. It's now going to bring up second down. As we enter the fourth quarter, I want to go ahead and tell you Trevor's Tornado trivia question. The answer, or the question earlier, was Alcoa and Heritage have been playing off and on since Heritage's first year as a school in 1977. It took them 4 tries for Heritage to get its first win against Alcoa, which Heritage Mountaineer coach was the only one, or the first one, to finally beat the Tornadoes. The answer was Jack Renfro. our winner this week. We'll reach out to you throughout the week to get you screen set up to Irving. Alcoa sniffed it out, and he'll lose one.
Tackle by Alcoa. Loss of 1, 4th down.
The quick play for Alcoa as they got on that quickly.
It's now going to bring up 4th down. 4th and 11 for the Mountaineers, and it looks like they're going to go for it here with 10:40 left to go in the 4th quarter. Alcoa has brought in a few of their younger players, still have some veterans on the D-line. So it looks like they and a few in the secondary, but they've rotated in a couple of younger guys here at the linebacker position and also the secondary. They'll look across the middle. They've got a man. They've got a reception. There goes the Mountaineers for a 1st down.
Yeah, cut right in front of the defense. Was able to get that right to him. A really good pass from McNeil as he gets that ball to Irvin and makes, as you said, Heath, a 1st down for the Mountaineers.
Good job by McNeil taking his time. Irving does the rest and picks up the 1st. 1st and 10 for Heritage. Ball at the 48. 2 receivers out to the left. They'll now send one of those in motion to the right side of the formation. I believe that's Bowers behind McNeil. He'll get the carry, and Kenny Harris waiting on him to introduce himself for a loss of 1.
Man, he just bear hugged him and just took him right down.
No game.
Alcoa continuing to rotate players in the game. Looks like Jermon Bishop now in on the D-line. The bus, as we like to call him on offense when he gets his opportunities. Alcoa also brings in number 45, Kason McIntosh, a junior linebacker, into the ball game. Heritage looking to the sideline to get the play call. Alcoa got 5 lined up on the line. They'll now move a couple back in pass coverage. Throwing up in the air, tipped in. Wow, I think
nice
he caught
catch.
it.
Yeah, it was tipped up by the defender, but it lands right back in his arms as he's able to hang on to it, and that was Bryant.
Yeah, Lincoln Smith tried to climb the ladder and make a play, and instead, Scott, as he bobbled it and it fell, the wide receiver was laying on the ground and just waiting for it and made the catch. So how about that? Little luck there for the Mounties as they've got a 1st and 10.
Good concentration from Bryant.
We'll turn, look at the receiver screen. Now look down the field. They've got a man. Oh, intercepted. Micah Jones, a good read, and he dropped back, Scott, jumped up, climbed the ladder, and extended the fingertips to pull that one down.
Yeah, I don't think McNeil saw him.
Yeah, he just kind of, the safety sitting back there in center field and just kind of gliding over, waiting for it, following the quarterback's eyes and making a play. So now the Tornadoes will take over on offense with 7:43 to go, and the clock will continue to tick. And Alcoa, Scott, with this mercy rule in effect, could, if they can continue to run the football down the field, try to run the rest of this out.
And that's usually about what Coach Nix has been doing this late in the game.
Manu still in the ball game. It's Damari DeBose in the backfield with him. It'll be DeBose on the carry. There goes DeBose. DeBose turning on the Jets. Breaks 1 tackle. Weaving his way through the defense, and DeBose off to the races. He may have sealed the deal here. And oh, man.
What a run. However, we do have a flag back at around the 21, 22-yard line.
And Scott, the players with the same gesture I'm giving, hands to the sides of the head in disbelief, as I think Manu and Abuhanya both went, no way, this one's coming back. I think it will. And I don't know if Coulter was thinking the same thing I was, but as he was going, I thought, there's your player of the game, as he just wrapped it up. Him and I were talking at the break, Scott, is who do you give the Print FX player of the game to? And we were between the they have put him over the edge, but now it's going to move back.
Yeah, and that's going to be one that Coach Nix is not going to be happy with, as that was a personal foul against Alcoa. There was no reason for anything like that.
The ball.
Does DeBose have it in him to do it again?
A breather after that run. I think they will. It looks like Condis Cherry now in the ball game. Trips to the left, single receiver to the right. Cherry now in the backfield as DeBose will try to find some oxygen on the sideline. Manu pump fake, sees nothing. Now Manu's going to take off with it. There goes Manu. Manu picks up the Maryville Top Shot first down. He'll now be greeted by a host of Mountaineers who will take him down past the 25. And it'll be a first down for Alcoa. 5.5 minutes left to go. It'll put the ball at the 27. Manu comes over and gets the play call. Will make his way back out. Cherry remains in the ball game with Manu. Trips to the left, one receiver to the right. Now I wonder, with DeVos out of the game, does it, you maybe look to try to get the ball to Pinson here? No, they'll throw it on the screen to Abu Hanya. Good play set up for him, and Abu Hanya will pick up another first down. Release some linemen late as Abu Hanya cut across the middle and made the play. I'm still trying to keep my eyes down there, Scott, because I want to see DeVos come back out.
Yeah, keep watching for him.
It looks like Manu's day is finally done as Luca Dougherty will now come in at quarterback. Alcoa starts to rotate some youth in. And maybe Brody King in the backfield. Full turn, they'll hand the football off. There he goes. And he's got some space, cutting to the outside, trying to turn on the Jets. He'll get tripped up, but he will pick up a first down, and I believe that is Brody King, the freshman, on the carry.
Yeah, Ethan Bryant on the tackle for the Mountaineers. The junior probably just saved a touchdown right there.
And what's not good, if you're Heritage, Troy Irvin on the ground with an injury. He will be attended to, and he's in some pain. He's made some plays tonight for Heritage. You definitely don't want to see him hurt. I was talking to someone before the game, and one of the things, we were talking down in the field about these two teams playing tonight, and she said, I'm just praying there's no injuries on either side. Both of these teams, we want to keep them healthy as they get to the latter parts of the season, and you definitely want to see that if you're Heritage. You want to see the Mountaineers be able to really try to see what they can do this last game or two to wrap up the season. And can they make a fight and a claim for one of those top teams in the region to get themselves in the playoffs?
Yeah, they're going to have to probably win out to be able to do so, as Carter has secured themselves pretty good. Like I told Trevor, I think if you have 4 wins, you're going to be in. Not sure of positioning yet, but you'll be in.
So they'll bring Irving over to the sideline. Trevor, you don't need to go down. You stay up here and talk with Dad. Okay. Fake pitch, and there goes Dougherty. Dougherty will cut it up the field. Dougherty bowling people over, and the quarterback will pick up a first down.
Thought he was going to break that one too there at the end. They just were able to get him around the shoestrings. Allows for a first down for the Tornadoes at the 27-yard line of the Mountaineers.
All right, and Alcoa looking over to the sidelines, continuing to take their time as clock continues to roll. And while we're thinking about it, Scott, as clock's winding down, I'm going to have to make a run for it here soon. I'm going to go down and get an interview with Coach Nix and also with our player of the game tonight, as Paige Dower is out of commission tonight. She is on her way to Tuscaloosa for the Vols game.
Come on.
She's covering it. She's got a job to do. There goes Brody King making a player miss. He'll get first to the first down marker. Will they give it to him? He got close. I think they are going to give him the first down. But I'm going to ask you both here before I make my way down. Player of the game, who is it? We're going to go Jalen Pinson, or are we going to go Damari DeBose?
Definitely.
I'm going to let you look over the stats with Coulter here for a moment. You guys debate. It's 1st and 10, ball at the 16. Dougherty breaks the huddle. Trying to take a look who's on the field with him. It may be Blade Burgess now in the game. I think it is. They'll turn, they'll hand the football off, and it is Blade Burgess on the carry, the other freshman into the ball game, and a good tackle by the Mountaineers. And I believe he might lose one on the play. It's going to be 2nd down.
Yeah, Heath, I'm going with Pinson.
All right, Jalen Pinson, our player of the game tonight. Did you see what his final stats were? I know he had at least 3 catches. Is that where he ended it? Okay, 3 catches tonight.
83 yards.
83 yards and a touchdown. Okay.
It looks like a good catch right there from Luka Dougherty. I can't see who the player was that caught the ball initially. Number 10 for Alcoa, that is Hayes Hawkins. But we had, once again, a flag on the play. And that should pretty much, by the time the referee gets this called, we'll probably pretty much wrap it up as the clock is now getting under 20 seconds left. Again, a holding penalty against the Tornadoes. Once again, another penalty wipes out a touchdown. I'm sure this is not going to be something that Coach Nix is going to be really happy with. As Alcoa is already walking towards the sideline. Both teams now are headed to the middle to do some congratulations with each other and talk about a good game. But the final score here, Alcoa, the Tornadoes 47, the Mountaineers of Heritage 0. As we have concluded this game, 2 more weeks left in the book for both teams as they're getting closer and closer to the end of the season. While they're doing that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, I'm going to be joined by Coulter Towle, and we will go over some stats for you. We'll be right back here in just a few minutes as yours are listening again to the Davis Abbey
Manu has been so good this season, filling in for the senior who was last year in Eli Graff, and he's been able to do such a good job. And a lot of that is definitely to his wide receivers who know how to go up there and get the ball.
All right, well, it looks like we got Heath down here on the field with the player of the game, Jalen Pinson. Let's see if we can go to Heath and let Heath talk to him here a little bit. Sorry about that.
All right, thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Down here on the field with my guy, Jalen Pinson. What a game for him tonight. 3 receptions, over 80 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen, it looked like a few times tonight you were able to just kind of sneak out of the backfield, and no one saw you, left you wide open, and then Manu and you did the rest. Talk about kind of what you were seeing and maybe what kind of opened that up for you.
What opened it up was we ran rail, so it's 2 verticals by the outside receivers, and they bit on them, so I just slid right in front of them. The open field, they was blocking for me, got as many yards as I could.
Yeah, when I saw you make that first catch out here in the flats and take off, I saw you with some space. I was like, go, Jalen, go. And they finally got a piece of you, but then you were able to get that touchdown near the end. That drive alone really was kind of what set things up for you guys, and you got going. That last touchdown was really big for you as well. But this game tonight, you had some time off, kind of shaking the rust off a little bit. Was that fall break maybe something that was needed to just kind of recoup and kind of let some injuries heal and get you guys back ready to roll?
Yeah, 100%. A bunch of our guys were banged up, so Coach Nick said, rest. It's the time for you to rest and get your bodies right for the next game.
Now after the win tonight, now it's time to really focus on gearing up for the playoffs. You got a couple more games left. You're trying to win the region. You're trying to make a statement your first season in 4A football, and we know we've got a couple big teams coming up. What was the message tonight as you close things out?
We going at everybody's head.
All right, that's what we like to hear. Our guy, Jalen Pinson, congratulations, my guy. I'm going to send you over there to get a picture with your plaque. And now here in just a moment, we're going to get Coach Nix on the air with us as well. So, Scott, I'm going to wait just a moment. I think we're going to get him over here. I think they're grabbing him now. So, yeah, we're going to bring Coach Nix over with us. Appreciate your patience up there with us. But, Coach Nix, Marley Watts over there making big plays tonight. Coach, what a win for you guys tonight. You guys had some time to kind of take fall break, recover, and get healed up, and it looked like you came out tonight fresh and ready to go.
Yeah, I think, and that's what's impressive to me about our kids. You know, you're always, Jody Wright said this to me one time, you're always battling adversity or complacency. You're always, and I think at our place, you're battling complacency. You know, just understanding that you got to get better every day. But if you, that's one thing I learned from Gary a long time ago, if you practice well, you usually play well. You know, you're usually going to play how you practice throughout the week. Our guys do a great job of practice. You know, they came back on Monday after a week off, and we hit the ground running and, you know, ready to try to make this run down the stretch.
Well, you certainly started off the second half right with a big win tonight at Heritage, a team you hadn't played in a while. You know, this is a rivalry that dates back a while to 1977. This is, I believe, the 32nd or 33rd game tonight between the series. What was it like as well, just to kind of renew a rivalry with a Blount County foe?
I think it's just fun to play here in the county. These kids are playing, you know, we knew a lot of these kids, and these guys play AAU basketball together. They play travel baseball together. They know each other. So you really wish you could play every county school and everything. You'd like to play them in JV just because it's, you know, we're all right here. It keeps all our fan base here. You know, it was a great win. I think they're a tough team, and, you know, we did some things to pull ahead early, but, you know, it was a fun game for us for sure.
Now let's talk about your player of the game, Jalen Pinson, 3 receptions, over 80 yards and a touchdown. This is a guy I had a chance to talk to him coming into the season, and I said, Jalen, you know, it's your time now. Time to take over the tight end position. I thought he's come prepared and ready throughout the year, but had another big performance tonight.
Yeah, he was a question mark coming into the year because we knew there was a ton of potential. You just hadn't seen it yet. Yeah. And I know what it's like to follow a legend, okay, and that sometimes can be daunting. And he, you know, Eli Owens is a legend around here. Yeah. So I was like, you know, you know, it was like, Thomas, you don't have to be Eli Graff. You know, there's things you can do, and then the same thing with him. And, you know, he's fast. He stretches the field. He makes such an effort to get better at blocking. I think that's something that he can run, he can catch, but that's what I appreciate about him is that something he's really improved upon. You know, and he's been a bright spot in our offense that we really were, you know, we were just hoping he would be solid. Yeah. You know, we would have been happy with a solid player, but he's a guy that's a threat at that position, and he's a great kid. He's such a likable kid. Yes, anybody's been around him. So, you know, you're really happy to see him have the success that he's had.
Final question for you, Coach. Excited about the opportunity in 4A playoffs to show people what Alcoa Tornadoes are capable of, but you got to get through the region first. What's the message for these final few games and some big games that we're going to determine the region winner?
I mean, really, the playoffs have started.
Yeah.
I mean, because you lose these next 2 games, and then all of a sudden you could go from first place in the region to 4th place in the region. So, I mean, to me, we should practice that way all the time. You know, to me, it's just always that, because people talk about the process, but the process is hard. To stay disciplined, to do. But we're just trying to find every little thing we can do to clean up and get even with a 47-0 win. I promise you, there's plenty of things we could have done better. We got to clean up things on special teams. Got a PAT block that had happened. We had some untimely penalties, and so there's just always improvement. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I told our guys it's hard at Alcoa to do it first. There's a lot of places where you win a state championship. It's the first ever you win. It's hard to, but to go in and win a 4A state championship, it's never been done here. But that's got to happen Monday at practice. That's a long. We're going to be hanging Christmas lights when the state championship game's played. So you start worrying about that now, you won't make it there.
Yeah. Well, and I love what you said there, Coach. What I think about Vince Lombardi, who said, practice doesn't make perfect, perfect practice makes perfect. There's always things to get better at. The standard is the standard, and there's no time for complacency. So, Coach, congratulations on the win tonight. Appreciate your time.
Yeah. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Coach Nix. All right, Scott, we're going to take it back up to you.
All right, Heath, thank you very much. Again, Alcoa wins over Heritage tonight, 47-0. While Heath is going to do some sprints back up here to the top of the booth, on the top of the stadium, we're going to take a break. When we return, we'll have Trevor give us the Hardy scoreboard updates. We'll be back in just a few moments. It's 47-0. Going to go to Trevor Dunkel now. He's going to get us caught up on the scoreboard, let us know what's happening around the region, give Heath time to catch his breath as well. Trevor, what we got going on?
Thank you, Scott. I was trying to check and see if there was more of a William Blunt update there at the half, but we'll get to that here in a second. Let's start off in 4A. As you just mentioned, Alcoa getting the win tonight, Heritage getting the loss, putting Alcoa 5-0 in the region, Heritage 2-3. Anderson County started off slow tonight against Union County, but has taken off 65-14 at the half. Anderson County leading that. So that should get Anderson County their fourth win of the season. Fourth region win of the season. And then also Gibbs leading Fulton 45-0. They just got into the fourth quarter, so that also looks like it's going to be a win. And then a couple other of our region opponents playing non-region games. Carter leading Austin East 27-0 at the half, and Clinton leading South Doyle 21-0 in the third, which was kind of a surprise. Clinton sitting at 1-5, getting the looking like they're going to get the win against South Doyle. Very much a surprise there. So kind of looking at Region 2 right now, like I said, Alcoa 5-0. They're going to be number one in the region right now. Anderson County taking that second spot, 4-1, as they get the win over Carter a while back. Carter 4-1 right now, not playing a region game, so they'll drop down to third. Gibbs sitting in fourth as they're looking like they'll get the win over Fulton, and then Heritage and South Doyle both 2-3 on the outside looking in. Heritage does have the win over South Doyle, so they would get the edge there, but who cares if you're 5th and 6th because you're still missing the playoffs.
Doesn't mean anything.
Union County and Fulton not just basically, but are eliminated at this point. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it. As I mentioned earlier, Gibbs does have Heritage and Carter their last 2 games of the season, both at home. So some good matchups there. And then Alcoa has Carter and Anderson County. So going to be shaping up the playoffs there. Moving over to Region 1 as Volunteer hosts Greenville tonight. Volunteer leading that Greenville leading that 35-0 at the half. And Elizabethton leading Sullivan East 42-14 at the half as well. So Elizabethton and Greenville looking like they're going to be 5-0 in the region. Elizabethton has Seymour next week, and then Greenville will be the game. And Greenville has Granger, so they both should get easy wins next week, then face each other for the 1st and 2nd spots. Volunteer and Cherokee sitting at 3-2 each. They play each other next week, so that will look like it'll shape up the 3rd and 4th spots. And then Seymour also on the outside looking in. And then Loudon hosting Ray County tonight. Ray County just owning the entire county. Like I mentioned earlier, they got the win over Lenore City recently, and they're leading Loudon, or they defeated Loudon 28-7. And then we'll keep an eye on Loudon. They've got Signal Mountain and Red Bank to wrap up their seasons. Red Bank, Loudon, and Signal all in the top 3 with Hickson right there as well. So definitely some good games there in the season. So if there is a tie there, they get that nod as well. Now moving over to 5. Like I said, there's not much of an update on the William Blount game, but it doesn't look like they're going to get a win as West is leading 45-14 at the half. So that definitely shakes up 5A with that. Also Powell leading Jefferson County 10-7 at the half. So looking at William Blount's region 2 of 5A, Powell sitting 5-0 in the region, Central moving to 4-1. And as we talked about earlier, you've got Halls and West at 3-2, William Blount and Carnes at 2-3. So a lot of interesting matchups there. William Blount does have Central and Campbell County to round it up. I think they'll go 1-1 there. So will be some interesting things to look at. William Blount with a loss tonight could have just sealed their hopes of not making the playoffs.
Yeah, so close, and then just the last half of the season's been rough.
Oh, yeah. And then over in Region 1, a 5A, Sevier County hosting Tennessee. Sevier County having a great season this year, and so they ran into Grace Christian. But right now, they're tied at the half, 7-7 with Tennessee. Both of them are at the top of Region 1 and 5A. So continue to look at that as well. And then moving to Region 3 and 5A, Lenore City hosting Walker Valley, and Walker Valley leading that at the half, 49-7. Walker Valley going to be moving to 5-0 in their region, most likely locking that up. They will have a good matchup with Ray County here at the end of the season as well, so that'll be a good game there. Moving over to some other, to 6A, Maryville hosting Science Hill tonight. Maryville leading that one 28-10 in the third. That is a non-region matchup. Oak Ridge leading Hardin Valley 21-10 in the third. And Cleveland leading Bearden 28-3 in the third. So like I said, Maryville's not playing a region game right now, so they're tied with Oak Ridge, as Oak Ridge is most likely going to pull that win out against Hardin Valley. So I'll move Oak Ridge to 4-0, just like Maryville, so it'll be tied at the top. Bradley Central not playing a region opponent this week, so they're also sitting at 3-1. And you got Farragut 2-2. Hardin Valley 1-4, Cleveland 1-3. So could be interesting, especially Cleveland getting their first win of the season. They've got Hardin Valley and Farragut to wrap it up. They could, if they win out, could move up.
Well, and we mentioned earlier Oak Ridge and Maryville playing at the last game of the season against each other, just like Alcoa and Henderson County, games that could make some big decisions and big big playoff implications there at the end of the year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think Maryville and Oak Ridge got the first and second spots locked up together. Bradley Central is probably going to stay at third, but also the bottom of that region is something to really look at as they're all starting to play each other. Hardin Valley does have Oak Ridge and Cleveland, so that could really hurt them at the end of the season. And then also as well, moving to Region 1 in 6A, West Ridge defeating Morristown East 35-0. West Ridge getting their first region win of the season. And then a couple more updates. Greenback leading Oakdale 21-0 at the half. Greenback really needing this win. They're in 5th place in the region, so trying to battle back. They do have Coalfield and Rockwood to finish out the season. Not two matchups that you want to see. So hopefully Greenback can bounce back and not have a second season in a row where they missed the playoffs. Like I said, that hasn't happened since 2006 and 2007. And then Coalfield getting the win over Warburg tonight, 55-0. That is final. Coalfield 5-0 in their region. And then Eagleton trying to battle back against Polk County, but there may not be enough time left. They're in the 4th quarter. Polk County up 23-13. So that will knock Eagleton down a little bit. Polk County getting their first region win of the season, their first region game of the season as well. They'll tie Oneida up at the top, Eagleton falling to 1-1, and then Tellico Plains down at the bottom, 0-2. So again, like I said earlier, they'll all make the playoffs in that region. Just seeing the seeding and how that will pan out. And then, like I said, we're going to keep an eye next week. Gary Rankin and Boyd Buchanan taking on CAK. So we'll keep an eye on that next week, as that will have some playoff implications in the Division II Class 2A East region.
All right, good deal, Trevor. Well, we're going to take one more break here before we finish up. And when I come back, Heath Dunkel will be with me as you're listening to the Davids Abbey Carpet Game of the Week. Again, Alcoa 47, Heritage 0. We'll be right back.
Let's just talk about We welcome you back into the Davids Abbey Carpet Game of the Week as we're wrapping things up here in the post-game show. You just heard some scoreboard updates from Trevor. One final one that got texted to me in the 4th with 8 minutes left. West 59, William Blunt 14. So the Rebels in full command there from West High School. But Scott, another big win for Alcoa in the region. With the win tonight, I didn't actually talk about this earlier and I'm into, but with the win tonight, that is now 70 straight region wins for Alcoa. Their last loss in 2011 to CAK.
And I'd like you to find a team that could boast that.
Pretty impressive for the Alcoa Tornadoes. Final thoughts from today's game.
Alcoa just doing what Alcoa does. Defense played great. Heritage had a good game plan to start with. Alcoa takes them out of it. And from there, Alcoa or Heritage trying to force a few things. Got a couple of interceptions that cost them with possibilities of trying to score. One time turned the tables on them as Alcoa scored on the interception. But Heritage just got themselves in a big hole, and it's hard to come back on Alcoa.
Yeah, just such a momentum killer right before the half, looking like you're going to get some points. Return for an interception, return for a touchdown. Then you get the ball finally in the 3rd quarter, and then what do? You fumble it, and Alcoa walks it back in for another touchdown. Just brutal. But you hope if you're for Heritage, they're able to kind of take some lessons from this game, build upon it, as they've got 2 more games in the region that they're big games they've got to come away with. This first one, Trevor and I are unfortunately going to be rooting against your alma mater, as Heritage will go to Gibbs to play. So we wish the Mountaineers the best, or at least Trevor and I do in
Go
that
Eagles.
one. And then Alcoa, final home game of the regular season, as we will be at home against Carter next Friday night. That game will be on 94.3 Jack FM. Kickoff pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7. You can also watch it live on YouTube at Alcoa Athletics or in the NFHS Network. Thanks so much for tuning in to the broadcast tonight. Your final score, Alcoa 47, Heritage 0. I'm Heath Dunkel alongside Scott Dunkel, and until next time, we say so long, good night, and yes, that just happened.